All right, I want to provide you guys with the fastest way that you guys can get into investing and the fastest way you can see an immediate impact on your money in the easiest possible fashion. Hey, my wife and I currently are valued over $5 million. We're about to buy a 50-acre piece of property. This will be our fifth property. We have 4 children, and 5 years ago, we didn't have shit, okay? And I want to go into some of the easy things that we did, but specifically the absolute easiest thing that you guys can do, because you're used to listening to crypto bros. You're used to listening to the fire people who don't want to work because they hate their job and they think there's some way to get rich quick. But really, it's just taking time and continuing to do very, very simple decision-making processes. So I wanted to provide that for you. I'm out on a business trip. I'm here in Oregon. I'm inside an Airbnb. I got this Airbnb for a week. And I was actually thinking through this. And I'm going, man, this person's got like a 1,000 square foot or probably less than that, 800 square foot little space, similar to my house. My house is only 880 square feet. We have 4 kids living in there, which is part of the reason why we're buying a new property, because we've had it since 2013. But anyway, this person has probably paid this off. They're getting, $1,000 plus for this week. It's probably nice to just have that money coming in. And so I was thinking through this and I'm going, okay, if I was somebody who, let's say I have $10,000 and I put $10,000 into a bank account, okay? When I put 10 grand into the bank account, and let's just pretend over 6 months, I don't touch it. I don't touch it at all. It just sits there, right? In 6 months, it's going to be $10,000. It's going to be like, I don't know, $10,001. There's not going to be any interest really that you're going to get from that actual bank account, right? So you're going to put 10 grand in and you're going to look at it and it's going to stay in there and you're going to be like, all right, well, I still have 10 grand. That's a victory. That's a win. I still got my money. I didn't blow it on anything dumb. I didn't buy some meme coin that my friend told me to buy. I didn't buy anything stupid. I'm good to go. I don't want to listen. I don't want to try and think through anything else. And so now it's easy to do that because it's simple. There's a low barrier to think through this. Okay, I'm just going to keep it here. It's safe. I don't know what else I can do, and I don't really think about anything further. Now, before I get into 2 things that I would want you to really, really think through to make this money bigger than $10,000 without you having to do anything extra, is start to think through, 1, crossing your financial T's, dotting your financial I's, okay? Making sure that you're making more money than you're spending. 2, establish your financial strategy. Meaning, what do you have as a goal? Do you want to be a multimillionaire so that you can do whatever you want financially? Or do you just want to have enough money so you can retire with comfort and not be super stressed? Or do you just want to save up your money and get to a point where you're not really thinking about it? You have a cool job and you identify that your job is rewarding. And so you don't really care as long as you're just doing something decent, right? Identify that. So have a financial strategy, have a financial purpose, and then make sure that you're dotting those financial I's, crossing the financial T's. So if we can do that, now we can think through, okay, that first 6 months, if we put 6 months of $10,000 into a bank account, it's not going to do anything, okay? Now, if we take that $10,000 and we put it into a high yield savings, okay, if we put that into a high yield savings that returns at about 3.5% in just 6 months, that's it. 6 months is nothing. You're going to get about $10,175, okay? So now you went from $10,000 to $10,175. That's in 6 months. You didn't really do anything. Okay, cool. That's neat. $10,000. I got an extra $175. That's a plane ticket to go to Philadelphia, wherever. I live close to Philadelphia. That's what made me think about this. So now I have that thought process. I got an extra $175. And that's just by going to some place like Lending Club or Alliance or I think SoFi. You could go to any of these banks and open up a high yield savings. You get about 3.5 to that's probably going to be what you would get on a high yield savings account right now. Super simple. You can literally, you could go into Vanguard and open up a Cash Plus account and you put 10 grand in and you don't touch it. And now you have an extra $175 and you didn't have to work. So think about this. If you're paid $40 an hour, you just got an extra 5 hours at the end of 6 months. Now, what's the next easiest thing that you can do? Okay, so a lot of people, they don't want to listen to a crypto bros. They don't want to listen to, which is good, you probably shouldn't, because they're going to be telling you to buy some stupid meme coin that you're going to waste $10,000 on and then it's going to disappear. and that's going to end up happening. So the next thing that you can do is you start to think through, like, why do I like to keep this money, this $10,000 in a bank account? Well, if I keep it in a bank account, it's a low barrier to entry. It's you don't have to think about it, right? So the next level that has like a little barrier is the high yield savings. So a lot of people don't know about high yield savings accounts. They don't know how they operate. They don't actually, they don't understand them. And so they didn't know about it, so they don't do it. Well, now you know. So now you can say, okay, I want to put, I'll just put the $10,000 in the high yield savings and I can get 3.5% return, and I don't have to have any fees, any crazy fees or anything like that. You'll have minimal fees around this. Now, the next thing that you could do is you can open up a brokerage account. Okay, so what does that mean? You would go to Vanguard, you could go to Schwab, and you could just open up Fidelity. You can open up a brokerage account. Okay, and the next step that you could take is, a lot of people like, well, I don't want to talk to a financial advisor. I don't want to talk to anybody else. And this is something simple. This is something simple that I learned from the richest dudes that I've known, who are also good people, that are like, yo, just go do this. This is all you have to do. Take this first step. Just go to Vanguard, open up a brokerage account. And I remember sitting here and being like, wow, okay, so if I open up a brokerage account and I select ETFs, okay, exchange traded fund, and I open that up and I said, okay, I see exchange traded fund. And then I searched. Dude's name's Terry. Put $10,000. Terry goes, put $10,000 into VOO. Okay, so this is a representation of the S&P 500, top 500 companies in the U.S. Exchange. So if we're looking, we're investing in a U.S. company, a high-performing company, companies like Microsoft, okay, AMD. Did you guys see it's at 180 today? I told you this like a month and 2 months ago. AMD, I bought it back in March. Anyway, okay, so now you're looking at NVIDIA, Palantir. These are companies that are in the S&P 500, but they don't matter. So don't even think about those companies that I just mentioned, because now you're probably like, oh, I don't even know what he's talking about. Just go in, you go to the Vanguard, and then you say, I want to look at this exchange traded fund. And then I want to say, I want to put $10,000 into this ETF VOO. Now, at the end of 6 months, okay, at the end of 6 months, you will have $10,500 if it's returning around 10%. Right now, VOO is performing much higher than 10%. Now, we're in a crazy market right now that's rolling, okay? So in this sense, you had three options. One was to put it into your bank account and do nothing. One was to put it into a high yield savings account, and you get that 3.5% return, which now leads to an extra $175. And then one is to get you to $10,500. So you're looking at like a difference of like $315 from putting it into VOO versus putting it into the high yield savings versus doing nothing. $500 over the doing nothing and just putting it into your bank account. Now, that's literally just putting it into VOO, and you're saying, okay, I'm going to put it into this ETF. It's going to represent the S&P 500. On average, over the last 50 plus years, this is how it returns. I like, just genuinely 10% every single year. Okay. Now, a 10-year comparison, and I did this on my calculator, would be, if I take this, if I start off, okay, and we have two investments. So I'm taking the high yield savings account and I'm taking VOO. Literally, it's so simple. You just hit ETF, VOO, buy market shares. It's like 500 plus bucks, and you buy it with $10,000 worth. So if you have two investments and you compare them after 10 years, okay, so I'm going to put $10,000 into the high yield savings. I'm going to put $10,000 into the brokerage account, and they're going to return, VOO is going to return at 10% annually. So every single year, 10%. And the exchange traded fund, or the high yield savings, is going to return at 3.5%. Okay. Everything's the exact same. And every single month, I'm going to add $100, just $100, but equal. 10,000 is a lump sum up front, $100 every month. Okay. Now, at the end of 10 years, just from $10,000 and $100 a month, $100 a month, that's nothing. It's $100 a month. You can do that. You can work a little bit extra. You get extra 5 hours of work, a month. That's an hour a week. It's an hour a week of work, right? Now, you look at this and you say, okay, if I do this, if I put 10K into the high yield savings or 10K into VOO, and I put an extra $100 a month in, at the end of 10 years, I'm going to have $45,923 in VOO. $45,923, so $46,000. In the high yield savings account, I'm going to have $28,400. Here's the lesson. Put it into VOO, you're going to have an extra $17,500. You put it in your bank account, you're not going to have any extra money. You're going to put it into your high yield savings, you're going to have a good nest, just starting to roll there, $28,400. It's a habit. It's something you do. You put it into VOO. It's simple. You don't even have to think about it. It's just in there and it's growing. And every single month you're going to look at it and be like, oh, wow, I got an extra $200. And you're going to start to have these simple habits form. And then you're going to start to think through like, oh, well, that would be neat. Like, how could I get this VOO to perform even higher? How could I get this? And you start to think about other things. But the big lesson here is it's the simplest thing you can do. The first step is instead of putting it in a bank account, you put it in a high yield savings account. The next step is if you don't want to do that, you just put it into VOO, VOO, and you sit, you watch it grow. You can add money. You got $100 a month. There's going to be times that it drops. There's going to be times that it skyrockets. But all you got to do is put it in there and get that started. It's the easiest thing that you can do, and you can start that today. I hope this helps somebody out there. Peace.